Combat sports fans, welcome to another great edition of Strong Style, Impact Media's weekly dive off the top rope into the world of mixed martial arts and professional wrestling. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. Welcome in to another great show. I know it's a little later in the week than usual. Still wanted to get this out. And we will dive into the world of pro wrestling here in just a second when we talk AEW and NXT and also 12 gauge pro wrestling up in Rome that me and a couple good buddies and family members of mine were able to check out up there. I'll tell you all about that show. We'll tell you where we might be tomorrow night, two possible places. But we'll tell you all about that a little later in the show. But let's start with UFC talk, right? Let's start with UFC talk because the UFC this week and just tomorrow night, and it may be one place we are at. They're going to be at State Farm Arena in Atlanta. Still looking into some things with that. We would like to be there, but some things have got to line up, and so we're gonna see what happens with that. And hey, if we're not there, we'll still be watching along, but we'll also be somewhere else, and I'll tell you where that is here in a bit. So let's talk some UFC, and we can't talk UFC without starting with UFC 316, 316. Oh hell yeah! That's about all this thing was missing, man. This was top to bottom, loaded like a potato from Wendy's. I wish they would sponsor the show. I would probably eat a lot more of their potatoes. But man, it was. Whew. And the main card, because we talk main card here. I might mention some of the undercard here in a minute, but the main card just delivered. Absolutely delivered. We start with if you want to follow this show at impact_media_ on YouTube, please subscribe. That way you know when the next shows are coming up. Question, comment, suggestion, rating, review. Tell me who you want on here. The way this show is set up now, there's a chance that anybody I talk about could be on this show. The bigger hurdles are now associated with a different show. But if that's an AEW superstar, if that's an NXT superstar, then it's a little bit of a tall order, but there's a possibility there that we do have avenues we can explore. If that's a UFC fighter you really like, if that's PFL, if that's Invicta, if that's bare knuckle, any of the ones that we cover or talk about on here, if they are TNA, if there's somebody you think you would like to hear from on this show or a special edition show, please reach out. I'll know who to reach out and try to get, because there's people I'm trying to get on, but it may be people that I think are just going to be really cool guests. It may not be the number one person you want. So, let us know. But let's talk UFC 316. Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean. Merab was the -250 favorite. He stayed the favorite. He was strategically going for that takedown. Sean was doing his best to try to stay on top of it, and then he took him down. And it was about all she wrote at that point. He had the guillotine, wasn't it? Yeah, he had that beautiful guillotine. It always comes down to, and it's not the first time or the only time we're going to say this tonight. Sugar Sean, at that point, Sean O'Malley had a choice to make. Can I get out of this? Is it going to be worth it to get out of this? Or should I live to fight another day? I think he took the high road and said, I'm going to live to fight another day. I think maybe I can regroup, rally the troops, and maybe put a better effort or better plan forward to face Merab down the road. And the guillotine choke got him. Great job from Merab. He did exactly what we thought he would do. It was late in round 3 they did that. I thought this may go into the 4th round. It's so hard to get on a bike and ride past or even side by side with Marab. Dawes Wheelie. He just has a gas tank from the heavens that he's just gonna outlast you. And he's not just waiting around or just running you around. No, you're dodging kicks, punches, all kinds of different strikes. You're dodging guillotine attempts. You're all the different things. He just is such a terror to have to face, and he's so humble about it. I've heard him on multiple shows and podcasts and things since his win. He's so humble about it. It's so fantastic. I think they've already said, is it Garbrandt or is it? I thought they had already kind of said who had the next one up. I can't remember what they said now. Sugar Sean, I think, has got some other fights he could do to stay in the top 5. But Marab with the massive, massive win with that one. Co-main event didn't disappoint either. Because this was at the end of round number 2. Kayla Harrison, who was doing a good job of controlling the fight, giving Juliana just fits, and every time she zigs, she zags, and it just she was doing a good job of combating her. And then Kayla locked in that Kimura, and I think Juliana did the same thing Sugar Sean did, and she said, you know what? I could let Kayla break my arm right now because I don't know if I can get out of it. And even if I do, how bad is my arm going to be? Or I could live to fight another day and potentially get another shot down the road because we know Kayla's next opponent already. We knew it coming into this, it being uh, Amanda Nunes. Yeah, man, I'm so sorry, Amanda. So sorry, Amanda. Amanda Nunes. But Kayla Harrison, that Kimura was in. It was in deep. No joke. It's either tap or snap right there. And Juliana said, you know what? Need my arms to fight. I'm going to get out of this one. I thought she still had a solid effort. I definitely thought she still had a solid effort. But it was Kayla's night. And we're going to get to see Kayla versus Amanda, the former training partners, the former gym mate. Man, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. And finally, Kayla's story. PFL and other people have heard her story up until this point, but if you have not, the UFC finally got to hear just the way she is just made such a beautiful, beautiful life of some of the chaos that was around her. It's just spectacular. I've talked to Kayla a couple times through the PFL. She's always fun to talk to. She just is always in a good mood. Just just she's fun. So I look forward to her versus Amanda. It's by far the next. It's a big fight. After that, I don't know that Kayla stays in this weight class. I think she will go up and not worry about that weight cut anymore because they said this is a brutal one for her. But I think maybe even her and Amanda may fight at a class above bantamweight. And either way, sign me up. That's main event. Just depends on what else on the card. That definitely needs to be a UFC pay-per-view. I don't know if that is going to be on like 319, 320. I don't know. That's for them to figure out. But if they ask my opinion, I don't know. I'd say about 3 or 4 down the road from now. We move to the third fight on the card where Joe Pyfer, and there is such a thing as Joe Pyfer power and everybody else. His power, man, he was rocking Kelvin Gastelum. I don't know that Gastelum has ever been knocked out that I can remember, but unanimous decision win for Joe Pyfer. Great win. So far, all of the favorites have won on the card there. Maybe I'm setting something up for a little bit later. But Joe Pyfer and his power, man, he can just generate such a force that it is something else. So good win for him. I think Kelvin Gastelum still has some good fights left, and I don't think he's out of this at all. He might drop a little in the rankings, but he's still a guy you're going to have to get through, and a guy that can still move up and maybe challenge and contend somewhere down the road. Actually, the next two fights, the underdog won. Mario Batista, big win over Patchy Mix, unanimous decision. Patchy didn't have the world's best performance, but I don't want that to take away from Mario's performance because Bautista, that was spectacular. He put on a show. He controlled the majority of the fight, and he made Patchy look a little rusty, and maybe that's what it is. But I don't want to make excuses. I don't want to take away from Mario. Mario had a great win, great game plan. He executed. Um, I look forward to hearing what he said. They ran out of time and didn't get a chance to give him a microphone after his fight. So at some point we will get to hear him weigh in, and I think that will be spectacular for Patchy. I think he'll get another big time fight just to prove that this was an anomaly. It's only a second loss. He's 20-2. The dude can fight. I think he was a little rusty. This was on short notice. This was like a week or two out or something, I thought. And with a proper training camp, I think he'll be good to go. And then lastly, Kevin Holland with the big submission win over Vicente Luque. That was the Anaconda choke. Well, they call it Anaconda. I don't know. It was a Northwest or it was a Darth or doesn't matter. He choked him out. He choked Vicente Luque out, and just a great win. He was the favorite. Actually, the only main card upset was Bautista over Mick. That's interesting. Using the UFC, it can go all over the place, but fantastic, spectacular card there. Just to go through some of the other bigger fights, Joshua Van down by the river. I'm gonna steal that one. Over Bruno Silva with the KO, the TKO there. Azamat Murzakanov with the TKO victory over Bredson Ribeiro. Valdo Cortez Acosta with the unanimous decision over Sergey Spivak. Let me say this real quick. I think that fight was a lot closer than the judges scored it. I actually thought Sergey might have edged Valdo, but I'm also not a judge. They didn't ask me. So, good win for Cortez Acosta. And Sergey will rebound and be right back into this, right back in the mix. Wayne Kong with the big win over Ariane De Silva. What's the other one? Oh, Andreas Gustafsson with the unanimous decision win over Chaos Williams. Chaos is another one that needs to kind of rebound and put some things together. And I think he'll be just fine. So let's move to the Atlanta card. Tomorrow night, I believe starting at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus, you will see the undercard for UFC Fight Night, Usman versus Buckley, and the main card starting on ESPN at 10 o'clock. In all honesty, I should be home in time for that, if I'm not at the show. And you guys will know if I'm at the show. I'll have plenty of videos and all kinds of great content to show you guys what a UFC Fight Night is all about. I always say there is nothing like an Invicta Fight Night. There's nothing like a PFL Fight Night. There's nothing like a BKFC Fight Night. There is nothing like a UFC Fight Night. Looks like a live wrestling show either. But these things are just so unique that if you ever get the chance to go to one, even a local fight night, go to it. Man, it's fun. It's just a lot of fun. So let's start. Main event, Kamaru Usman at plus 230 versus Joaquin Buckley. Buckley, I believe, has 7 wins in a row or 8 wins in a row. This may be number 8 he's going for. I always lose count there, but he is on quite the roll. He struggled a little right before COVID, and then when COVID hit, he was able to put some stuff together. He had that possibly knockout of the Millennium, that spinning heel kick or whatever he did to, what is his name? He's in the PFL now. He's a champion over in the PFL. Anyway, of him, and just unreal show that he really puts on. But Kamaru Usman, man, he might be the second best welterweight of all time. He's one of the best for sure. The run he's had. Minus 280 for Joaquin Buckley on this, and he is on the bigger charge. I do think Buckley is going to win. I think if this is a 5-round fight, I think somewhere in round 4, Buckley is going to find a way to get Usman out of this one. I do think that's what's going to happen. Now, Kamaru could really prove me wrong, but I think this one ends before 5 rounds. I think it ends somewhere in the 4th. I think early in the 4th, actually. And give me Joaquin Buckley at minus 280, which is not bad money if you want to throw down some ducats there. Co-main event. Thug Rose Namajunas at a minus 235 versus the up-and-coming, actually not really up-and-coming, she's there, Miranda Maverick at plus 190, the women's flyweight division. Boy, if Usman Buckley's not on the card, Namajunas Maverick is top billing. There's not many fights that would go above this one right now, and just Usman Buckley happens to be one. We all know Thug Rose. We all know the Joanna fight and all of those that she's had. She is a top contender anytime she goes out. She kind of hit the struggle bus for a second, seemed to have put it all back together, brings her 14-7 record into Atlanta. Miranda Maverick is that next woman up, the new fresh face on top of the division. And she's got to go through Rose to do so. Is this 3 rounds or 5 rounds? Do we know? Is it 3 rounds, 5 rounds, 20 rounds? Does it say? It does not. I'm going to imagine it's 3 rounds. Man, they're both going to look to try to end this one early because they don't want to put in the hands of the judges. But I think unanimous decision winner is Miranda Maverick. Maybe even split decision. But I think Miranda Maverick takes this one. I think she gets the win over Rose. And I think the next, she's either 1 or 2 fights from being main event for the belt. That's where I think Miranda Maverick is at. I don't have rankings in front of me or nothing like that. I'm just saying where she is and as good a run as she is on right now, that if she is able to top Rose and get the best of her, I think she's one of those next big contenders. She has to be at this point. Not saying, Rose can prove us all wrong, but I tell you, I think Miranda's going to take it. In the third matchup, Edmund Shahbazyan is going to take on Andre Petroski. Petroski plus 125, underdog minus 150 for Edmund Shahbazyan. That is basically a coin flip. Gosh, who do I think is going to win that one? I got to go with Edmund Shahbazyan. I'm really torn on it. It's probably a 51-49 for me. I think this one goes decision, and I think Edmund does just a little bit more than Andre to get this one done. Cody Garbrandt is going to face Raoni Barcelos. Barcelos a minus 235 favorite over Cody Garbrandt. Then that tells Garbrandt was not the one I was thinking of a while ago. I'm trying to remember who the next contender is. Plus 190 for Cody Garbrandt. Barcelos is really good. But Cody Garbrandt has burned me the last few times I went against him. So give me Cody Garbrandt to take out Raoni Barcelos. He's going to have to stop him because I think if this goes to decision, Barcelos is probably going to get the nod. Garbrandt has got to find a way to get Barcelos out of there before the end of round 3. And then finally, last on the main card, or at least the way it's listed on mine, Mansour Abdul Malik is going to face Cody Brundage. Brundage a plus 550, minus 900 for Abdul Malik. Don't waste your money on a minus 900 favorite. I hate it for Cody Garbrandt, but Abdul Malik is going to win this one. Probably a stoppage late first, early second. I think early second, and that is all due respect to you, Cody Brundage. But Abdul Malik should handle this one based off the way he is. A couple other ones that may be of interest to you. Alonzo Minifield is going to face Umar Sy, who is Sadabu Sy. brother, I believe. I could be completely wrong with that, but I think they are related. You can't be that many people with that last name and not be related and both be from France. Paul Craig is going to face Rodolfo Bellato. Michael Chiesa is facing Court McGee. Cody Durden versus Jose Ochoa. Ricky Simone versus Cameron Smotherman. And Jamie Lynn Horst versus Vanessa Demopoulos. It's going to open the card. That's going to open the card. And that's going to tell you how hot the city of Atlanta is. And it's an MMA hotbed. I'm glad the UFC is back here. I am glad WWE is coming back here for 3 straight days in the summer. Next, about a month from now. But just absolutely spectacular to have the UFC back in town. Let's talk a little PFL. PFL had an event over the weekend. They have another one coming up this weekend. Just talking main card as well with that one. We get Thad Gene get in the main event. He gets the split decision win over Jason Jackson. That was not just based on that. It was a very close decision. Some people thought Jason Jackson won. I thought Thad had the edge, or at least majority of the round. So he stays undefeated with that. Jesus Pinedo with, I would say, knockout of the night of Gabriel Braga. Braga is very hard to knock out. That is only his 3rd loss. And he dropped him. Jesus Pineda just absolutely dropped Gabriel Braga. And like I said, I thought it was TKO of the night, knockout of the night, if you want to call it that. Also, Logan Storley with a unanimous decision win over Masayuki Kakuri and Mavlid Kybulayev. Kybulayev. There we go. Unanimous decision win over Tai Kin Kim. They had some other good fights on the card. Adam Bork with the win over Jeremy Kennedy. Magomed Umlatov with the TKO of Anthony Ivy. And Umlatov is a machine. He normally likes to go the distance and really wear you out. So the fact that 2.5 minutes into this fight, he had Anthony Ivy staring at the light, spectacular. That makes him an even bigger warrior that you're going to have to watch out for now. He's not going to just try to go the distance. A lot of good stuff going on for the PFL. They are still in the semifinals as week 2 will start up there. They have those. Are they down in Orlando, right? No. They're in Wichita, Kansas at the Intruist Bank Arena this weekend. Main card on ESPN Plus ESPN Plus is going to have the prelims at 5. The main card is going to be on ESPN and ESPN Plus at 9. And this is the lightweight, the bantamweight, and the women's flyweight all in this one. Main event is going to be Gazi Robodanov versus Kevin Lee in the lightweight division. There's not even odds out. Come on, ESPN. You're killing me. I think Gazi Robodanov has the edge in that one. That's who I am taking. Liz Carmouche is going to face Alora Dana in the women's flyweight. Until somebody knocks off Liz Carmouche, I'm going to continue to pick her to win fight because she is just that woman, and she is a buzzsaw. And until you find a way to disengage the buzzsaw, they're going to keep slicing through everybody. So give me Liz Carmouche in that one. Mansour Benari is facing Archie Colgan. I think Mansour is going to take that lightweight battle. Justin Wetzel is going to face Mondo Gutierrez. I like Mondo in that one, actually, just by a slight edge. Shirley Alves is taking on Jake Hadley in the bantamweight division there. I like Jake Hadley. Brent Primus versus Alfie Davis in the lightweight division. First off, for that to be that part on that card is crazy. I want to give the edge to Alfie Davis, but I'm just going to go. Can't even say experience. They're pretty similar experience. Give me Alfie Davis over Brett Primus. Just something about it. Ekaterina Sokolova is going to face Jenna Bishop. I think Jenna Bishop is going to take that one. I think it's going to be really close, but Jenna Bishop looking to rebound and really make a push to be a top contender in the women's flyweight over there. She's often forgot about, and I don't know why. She's definitely one of the top talent over there. Magomedov is going to face Sarjan Kamidov, who is undefeated. I actually think Magomedov is going to put the first notch in the loss column for Sarjan. It's gonna be a fun fight. That's gonna be a really fun fight. Antonio Caruso versus Vinicius Cincy in the lightweight division. I'll take Caruso. Dara Kelly versus Chuka Willis. I will take Kelly in the lightweight battle there. Mateos Matos is facing Lazaro Dayron. I will take Lazaro Dayron in that bantamweight fight. Teray Orozco is facing Ilara Joanne. I will take Joanne. And Alan Dominguez is taking on Nick Meck. Give me Nick Meck in that one. As I said, that one, when is, do you actually tell me that? I think that one's on Friday, is it not? That one, I think they're tonight. Are they not? I believe so, because there's no way that they'd go head to head on ESPN with UFC. But big stuff there. Waiting to hear on the next Invicta show. We'll have more on the bare knuckle next week as well. But let's get into the world of professional wrestling. Let's start with AEW. They did the Fyter Fest 4-hour spectacular on Wednesday. They did another one this week as well to lead up into their big show coming up. As far as big things that happened during that, Mark Briscoe versus John Moxley was a pretty good match. They had some weird matchups where like Tony Storm and Shirakawa went against Julia and Sky Blue. It's good to see Sky Blue back. It's good to see her with Julia. I think if you pair those back up, they are a fantastic tandem. They're kind of setting up for a women's tag division. Don't know if you guys have kind of seen that or not. And if they don't do one, they're missing the boat again. Good way to get more of these women and their talent on TV because you can have a lot more tag based stuff. They keep teasing Ospreay and MJF. At some point, that is going to be a rematch that we should all tune in for. Having MJF in the Hurt Syndicate is pretty interesting as far as it goes and everything. But I want to see what they do with it because I think at some point Bobby Lashley's just going to not trust MJF. He's just going to probably drop him. And that will lead to a match between those two, which would once again be a must watch. Hobbs over Max Caster. I don't know how much longer Max Caster is going to be around. The split is. I said that from the beginning. If they ever split, Anthony Bowens is the one that's going to get pushed. And it's nothing to Max Caster. It's just he's just going to fall by the wayside. He needed Bowens to balance him out. Bowens doesn't even need Billy with him. He could be a bona fide star. We'll see how all that goes. But that led to now Omega versus Claudio Castagnoli. That was a spectacular match for the Intercontinental or International. International is what they call there. So yeah, for the International. And of course, that's going to set up Okada versus Omega. We have said that dozens and dozens of times. Well, they officially announced it. That's going to be fun. You're going to finally take those two belts and you're going to mash them together. You're going to have one champion, and it's more than likely going to be Kenny Omega. And I think Okada probably finishes out this contract and goes back to Japan, probably just retires. That's what I think. Omega's going to stick around a little bit longer, at least on in ring. What else was there? Ospreay versus Leo Rush was actually pretty solid. Leah Roach is a great worker. Has some very innovative things that only AR Fox can top, I believe. But it was a good match. Ospreay gets a win there. Him and Hangman have kind of decided to enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, and they're going to watch each other's back, which they did multiple times during this show. That's good because at one point it's going to come down between the two of them. But I actually agree with Ospreay that if anybody's going to take out Moxley, I think Hangman is that guy. I thought it was Swerve. I thought it could be Ospreay as well. I actually think it makes a lot of sense for it to be Hangman. That it just makes sense. Um, Not a lot really going on. To be 4 hours of content on a Wednesday, it was. Now I'll give it to this. Fletcher, Kyle Fletcher, Hechicero, and Takeshita took on Bandito and Los Outrunners. Yeah, Los Outrunners. They came out in full on lucha masks. That just fantastic. Those guys get it. Though the Outrunners get it, and they do it better than anybody right now. They come up short on this one, I believe, but man, it's just they get it. They get it, and that's just the best way to put it. They absolutely get it. What else was there? Penelope Ford and Megan Bain were trying to attack Anna Jay, and then Anna Jay's former tag partner and old tag team partner, Ty Mello, come back out. It looks like she's back, so we're going to get to see Anna Jay and Ty Mello teaming up again with, man, where's Harley Cameron on this? She got lost out there because her and Anna Jay were a great team, but Ty Mello and Anna Jay. There's another tag team. Megan Bain, Penelope Ford. There's another tag team. You guys see what they're doing? Come on. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. What else was there? Sammy Guevara versus Lee Johnson versus AR Fox versus Nick Wayne for his belt. Really, really good match. It really was. Nick Wayne getting the win there, and Christian still might be the best heel on TV. Um, and he's setting up Nick Wayne for something. We just don't know what yet. We don't know good or bad, but I think he's doing a great job to help build that kid up. And him keeping his belt, definitely a good thing as of right now. We got to see the debut of, is it Tekla? I think the H is silent. Tekla, who is from Austria, I think, or German. I think it's Austria. He took on Lady Frost. Lady Frost is a spectacular worker. Debuted a little bit of a new look and good. I think she does a lot of Ring of Honor stuff, but Lady Frost and Tekla were great match. It might have been one of the best matches of the second of the second wave there of content that night. Amanada also come down, but it just he almost fell flat, and that whole sequence fell flat because she started running. She was in big heels, and so she took the heels off, and then she stumbled coming in the ring. Hey, things happen. I'm not saying that she's a fault or nothing, but it just looked clunky, and it allowed for uh, Lady Frost to easily get out of the way and avoid confrontation. And then at the very end, RPG Vice and Lance Archer and Josh Alexander took on Paragon and Daniel Garcia. It was good to see these 8 people in a match. It was an okay match. It wasn't that amazing, but Fyter Fest was supposed to feature as many as possible and all this great talent, and I thought they did a good job of that. AEW did a good job of that. They're still doing some incredible things. They're building up for the big show coming up very soon. Remember, I said when WWE is in Atlanta for 3 straight days, at the same time as All In Texas for AEW. Calling your shot a year out is a great thing and a bold thing, but it also gives your competition plenty of time to plan counter programming. And that's not AEW's fault. This is WWE trying to widen the gap. Don't know if they will that weekend. AEW's got some chances there. They do. It's going to be fun. We don't know how involved we'll be that weekend, but I tell you one thing. We're going to be involved at some point, and we will also be involved in some WWE stuff. So stay tuned for all of that. We go to NXT. Javon Evans, Ethan Page, the Laredo Kid, and Sean Legacy all kind of got into it, along with the is it the Varsity Project? What do they call it? The Vanity Project. Can't read my own writing. But Javon Evans, Ethan Page, the Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix had a spectacular match at Worlds Collide. If you didn't see Worlds Collide, please go watch it. It was a really, really good event. And shout out to Ricardo here locally who does Mucha Lucha ATL. In watching Worlds Collide, that's the only show I could compare it to. And yes, I've seen some of the Worlds Collide people on Mucha Lucha shows here in Atlanta on Mucha Lucha ATL. But the feel that it had watching that felt the same as being here live for a MLA event. So hopefully we can get some more of those coming. I know there is some big hurdles for Ricardo, but he knows that us and you guys are here to help. But we got to see Vikingo. Him and Chad Gable just completely tore it up on World Collide. Go watch it. The new Chase U got completely torched by Dark State, which is fine because Dark State ain't done much of nothing lately. So running over Chase U at least gave him a solid win. Think it was a 3-on-3. You never know with Dark State, but they're not really doing much with them. They started off by going after people and then they just never finished. So I want Dark State to do more if they're going to do it. There was a rounds match between Bourne and Dempsey. Bourne ended up with the win in that one, which keeps him in the No Quarter Cats crew. And it's just ultimately going to lead to Dempsey either leaving that group or Bourne leaving that group. At some point, they're going to hash it out again. And I think it's one of those loser leaves the group. And they think a lot of Bourne, they think a lot of Dempsey. So I would like to see what they do with that moving forward because they're planting the seeds and it's definitely there. The culling has done a bunch lately, except for have actual matches. That is the Sean Spears group with Izzy, and it looked like they attacked one of their own members. Have to check into what that was all about. We got to see the debut of Tyra May Steele, who's been on this show. Well, she's been on an Impact Media show. We interviewed her back when she was with Team USA Olympics back 2 cycles ago. Go through our archives. I'll probably try to repost it here soon, but go through the archives. She is spectacular. The personality that she shows in the interview with me, on and off screen, told me that she had every potential to be a great WWE superstar. And she just had a really, really great debut against Ariana Grace. Ariana started being a little snotty again. After all the time she's done a lot of great stuff and going back and forth to TNA and NXT, it was good to see her be vanity queen Ariana Grace. That she's really good at that. They featured Mike Santana again. That was fantastic. They let Fatal Attraction come out. And the thing I didn't like is you're not giving JC Jane her moment. It's getting overshadowed and everything. You had Lainey Reed come out. You had Lola. You had Jordan. You had Kalani, Lash, Parker. You had all these different people come out. And it just overshadowed JC Jane being your champion again. I mean, is she just that much of a transitional champion? If so, why don't you give her the belt? I'm glad you did. She's a workhorse, even in her own group. So I just want to know what they did because they always constantly put as many people as they can into one situation. It's like 6, 8, 10 people in a matchup, and it's just I don't like it. I wish they'd split it out a little bit more. But good for JC on being champ still. Evans and Legacy. Let's see, Evans, Legacy, Laredo, and Dragon Lee took on Page and the Vanity Project. And, of course, Evans, Legacy Sean Legacy, Laredo Kid, and Dragon Lee all won in that one. Oba and Jasper Troy had a face-off. It's weird. Tyra May wins, and she comes in and faces Ariana Gray. Great mid-level competition. Jasper Troy wins the next big superstar contest, and he comes in against Oba Femi. So either he's going to take it off Oba Femi and Oba's getting called up, which is very possible, or he's getting humbled right out of the gate. I don't get it. I don't know. It's weird. It's going to be a good matchup because they're both massive human beings with similar backgrounds. But to come in the gate and immediately be against the champ, you're telling me you don't like the rest of your roster. How do you not like the rest of your roster right now? It's weird. Tatum Paxley is lost in the sauce. They got rid of everybody around her. So Sol Ruka and Zaria are trying to pick her up. I think Tatum should go back to being like bad, like evil bad. Maybe even pair her up with gosh, I forgot her name. I am having a terrible brain lapse right now. With the sleeping girl. The Eve, I can't think of her name, but she's been on Evolution, I believe, for a bit, or Evolve for a bit. Pair them back up. I think that would be a really, really good pairing and really help both of them. And that's also another tag team that you could feature on not only NXT but on SmackDown and Raw somewhere up the road. What else was there? Mike Santana versus Trick Williams for the belt. At some point, Trick is going to lose the TNA title. I thought it was too early to do so. I hated that Mike Santana had to be victim number 2, but he was. I'm not sure who from TNA, unless it's Elijah, is going to be the one to take it, but Mike Santana is more TNA than Elijah, at least at this point. But Elijah and Trick could be a thing because there's a rift between them. First Class also come down and attacked Elijah. Good to see First Class on NXT television. Also talked about UFC. TNA against all odds. Let's talk about that. All right, so let's talk some against all odds, right? Against all odds. They did the Elegant Friend, which is Ash, Heather, and M, as they are calling her. Took on Zaya Brookside, Harley Hudson, and Mila Grace, which is a new team they have brought in. They paired her with Zaya Brookside, which didn't make a lot of sense in my opinion because Zaya Brookside and Rosemary have a really good program going right now that paid off this week with the Monsters Ball match. But clearly the Elegance brand won this. So good way to bring in a team and completely bury them on a pre-show. We opened up with Steve Macklin defeating Mance Warner with Steph DeLander in a singles match for the TNA International Championship. When Mance Warner is not trying to be a weirdo, and he's good at being a weirdo, he's really good at it, and doing all the hardcore stuff and deathmatch stuff, Mance Warner is actually a really good performer. And him and Steve Macklin put on a solid match that was actually one of my favorites on the card. The Hardys, Matt and Jeff, along with Leon Slater and Cody Deaner, who was back, defeated the System of Moose, JDC, Eddie Edwards, and Brian Myers with Alicia down there. It was good to see Cody Deaner back. Good to see Jeff back. Other than that, this was an 8-person wash of let's waste 12 and a half minutes of your time. Mustafa Ali with John Schuyler and Tasha Steele. Looks like they've lost a member as Jason Koch, I believe. They defeated Jason Hotch in a singles match. Looks like he's going to leave that group. I think he should. He's about ran his course. I'm not sure how much longer John Schuyler should stick around either. He does a lot of stuff away from TNA. And they're doing absolutely nothing with Tasha Steele. So having Mustafa and her kind of go at it is something different. But Tasha Steele at one time, I believe, was the TNA Knockout champion. And now she basically answers phone calls from Mustafa Ali. So, Just brush it off. Don't know. Marcus Slamovich defeated Lei Ying Lee for the Knockout Championship. This was a solid match. This was good. I think it's almost time to take the belt off of Masha. I think there's a couple of candidates that we could get into. I wouldn't mind seeing Zaya with a run on it, but as far as somebody to beat Masha, if it's not Tessa Blanchard, then who? You're going to have to bring some people in or something because she's basically beaten everybody else there. Maybe an NXT superstar. I didn't think about that. Maybe an NXT superstar. That would be interesting. The Nemeth brothers defeated the Rascals for the tag team championship. The Nemeth are a decent team. Yes, they're brothers. They're a decent team. The Rascals are the tried and true workhorse force of the tag team division, and they can't buy a big time win, and I don't think we get that. But Santino Marella with Ariana Grace, remember his daughter, defeated Sheriff Stone with Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford. Matt Cardona was the special referee, and the winner is the official TNA Director of Authority. So now Santino has that officially back. What a good moment. That's a good moment. He beat Stone, who got to make his return to TNA in the Impact Zone. Look him up. Robert Stone, he used to be Robbie E. Looked way different than he does now. But great performer. And Trick Williams defeated Elijah. See, here we go. So who is going to beat Trick Williams? Is it going to come back around? It's going to be Joe Hendry again because Joe Hendry's going to win in time for his contract to expire. He's going to walk to WWE. I don't know. TNA, you do such a good job with your roster. You're doing a fantastic job compared to years past. I know you have done some managerial changes here and there and moved some people around, writing staff and things like that. And I think you are doing some really great things. Sometimes I don't get it. I don't know if it's part of the WWE agreement or whatever it is. Trick being your champion, fine, because that way he's a champion at least. He's champion quality, but he beat Mike Santana. He beat Joe Hendry. He beat Elijah. Who? Moose? Is Moose and Trick going to go at it? Because I give the nod to Moose on that one. I was going to say I give the nod not to Moose, but yeah, it's especially when Frankie Kazarian beat Joe Hendry by pinfall. What good did that do? Now you put Hendry even further down the line of ever getting another rematch. Just I don't know. I don't get that one. I'll be honest. Who should beat Trick Williams and restore order to TNA? Two names. Either your current international champion, Steve Macklin, which is my number one choice, or my number two choice, Eric Young. Have Eric Young take it from Trick and go, I'll be dang if I let somebody mess up TNA wrestling, TNA Impact Zone wrestling by having their belt and not being on the roster. Eric Young. I bet you it's Eric Young. Steve Macklin makes a lot more sense to me. But that definitely is the direction I would go. Now, quickly, I told you guys that I was at a show over the weekend. I was at 12 Gauge Pro Wrestling up in Rome, Georgia. It is not that, it's a hop, skip, and jump from our studios here in West Georgia. Great show. Was able to meet Rocky Shaw, the promoter and head guy up there. Really good show. That was only his third or fourth show, he told me, and the crowd was into it. They were chanting. I don't count when I was chanting or things like that because I was having a good time. My uncle and a cousin of mine were able to go. They live up in the area, actually pretty close to the area. And I said, hey, you guys want to go to a wrestling show? And they said, yeah, that sounds fun. We ain't been to a wrestling show in forever. I was like, yeah, let's come check this one out. I said, I got invited up here and I pulled triple duty. For people who don't know, I was not only representing Impact Media myself, I was up there for the Tap Out podcast, and I was up there for Georgia Wrestling History as well. A lot of fun, man. We got to chant, we got to yell at people. Some good snacks, definitely some good snacks up that way. The weather tended to stay away it hit earlier before the show started, but good crowd. And let me just go through the card, man, because this card was good. We open up with Chad Skywalker versus Jay Alpha Miller. You guys know those names? If you're on the Georgia wrestling indie scene, I bet you know those names. And if you don't, then you're not paying attention to this show because they're regulars in Deep South. I'm very familiar with them both. Great way to start the show. Skywalker with the win there, and him and Hakeem Young, who will be mentioned here in a minute, came down to help Alpha Miller beat down Chad Skywalker. And the hometown hero, Zach Mosley, making his return to Rome, was able to come down and make the save there, and that just set up the main event for later. The Pale Rider, Corey James, got a big fatal four-way win over Rockstar BK Bennett, who got either his nose or his mouth busted because he got busted pretty good by the end of it. But also Space Cowboy and Hayden Steele all in that match there. I want to apologize to Hayden Steele. He got knocked pretty good out of the ring. He looked at me and he said, "Hey man," and I said, "Yeah." He says, "Do you think I have a chance in this match? You think like And I should have been encouraging, and I should have said what I was actually thinking, what I actually believe, and it's like, yeah, man, get back in there and keep at it." And instead, for some reason, Jackwagon me said, "Nah, man, you should think about selling insurance." I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, buddy. I should have encouraged you there. Maybe you would have won if I would have encouraged you there. Maybe I shot down your confidence. So I apologize, Hayden Steele. Congratulations, Pale Rider Corey James on the win for that one. I got to see one of the best technical wrestlers in the state of Georgia. He is so good, and he won the Georgia Award so many times. They actually name it after him. Kyle Matthews. Kyle Matthews and his tag partner, Tyler Smith, were able to beat Chris Squared, as I called them, Chris Gaines and Chris Lightning. And apparently this is the second time that these two teams have faced, and they are going to face at the July 12th card. I believe it's July 12th, up in Rome. That it's on my calendar. So far, it's looking like the thing I'm thinking about. But they will be in a 2 out of 3 fall street fight to determine who is the better team, because Chris Gaines and Chris Lightning won the first match with Kyle and Tyler winning this one. So we will very much get to see. It was a classic tag match. It was really, really good. The way they did a lot of the classic things, just so good. But we will see who the superior team is out of those two. Next up, the Warden, who I've seen on Mucha Lucha ATL shows there. He's a big dude and he can move. He was able to defeat the modern mid-century gentleman, Jerry Swirls. Hey, Jerry can work. Jerry can work, man. He is one of those guys on the card that you want him on your card because he will show up early and stay late. And he actually did a really good job of getting the crowd against him quickly. It helps that the Warden is one of the fan favorites up there. But no, Jerry more than held his own, and there was, I would say, a solid half dozen times or so, I thought Jerry might get the win. I really thought he would, and I actually had a small chat with him after. Man, I really think Jerry Swirls could do some fun stuff up there in Rome, and I know he's glad to be a part of the show, and he also, being the modern mid-century gentleman that he is, wishes the crowd would give him a little more respect for the proper respect he deserves, and Jerry got to keep working on that because they love the Warden, man. They love that guy, and if they match up again, maybe Swirls gets the win. We'll see where both of them go moving forward. The co-main event was Walker 13 against Lumberjack Zach Riley. These are two massive dudes. I mean, probably there had to be, I'd say, had to be upward of 500 plus pounds in the ring between the two of them, and it was actually a highly competitive match. Walker 13 ends up with the win in that one. And he is a dude I will walk to the other side of the street if I see him. He scares me a little bit, and I like to stay out of those guys' way. And then, of course, like I said, the main event was Zach Mosley versus Hakeem Young, the body snatcher. Fun part, I've never seen Hakeem Young wrestle in person. I have seen clips online. I have seen parts of his matches there. I'd only seen Hakeem Young 2 times before this night. And as I like to famously say, the first time was when I presented him and Michael Walker for their last man standing match, the match of the year at the Georgia Wrestling Awards. And the only other time I have met him in person was 2 weeks ago at the Deep South show when him and Skrilla the Great were seen walking around ringside. And I just introduced myself because I'd never met Hakeem Young just face to face like that. I shook his hand and said congratulations the night of the awards, but I'd never formally introduced myself and met him. So I've now seen him 3 times. I was impressed. I was impressed. They say that Zach and Hakeem and Chad and Jay Alpha Miller are 4 of the best on the indie scene in Georgia. 4 that you need to see if they're ever on a card. I would agree. I could make cases for a lot of this card as well. This was top to bottom. I loved it. You guys probably saw the video that I did talking about it that 12 Gauge put out. Appreciate that too, because I just wanted to put something out, just saying how much I enjoyed the show. I am branching out to some other shows other than Deep South. There's no falling out between me and Deep South. I will be at the next when is that? That's the 29th is their next show at New Realm. I will be at all those. Come see me there. But if we are not at UFC tomorrow night, and at this particular juncture, it does not look like we are. Things could change between now and tomorrow afternoon. But if we are not at UFC, we will be in Buchanan, Georgia, BUCHANA in Buchanan, Georgia, at the Cattle Livestock Pavilion just outside of downtown. If you're not familiar, it's really easy to find. I promise you. There is a giant cow at the front of the road that you turn on to get to the livestock auctions place. For Premier All-Star Wrestling, they are doing a benefit show for some people that they're trying to help out. And I believe bell time is around, or doors open at 6, card starts at 7, something like that. Not sure how much of Impact Media will be there, but more than likely you will see me. If I'm not at UFC, I will be there. Maybe I drop a video mid-morning or so, tell them where I'm going to be. Well, probably closer to lunch. I know what I'll be doing mid-morning. It's going to take up part of my time. So maybe just after lunch, we will make some sort of announcement. But either way, come out and see the Premier All-Star. Looking forward to that. There's another indie show that I'm going to check out next week. And then the week after that will be Deep South. So there was 3 shows that are in the greater West Georgia area that are closer. They're pretty close to me. And well, I'll go ahead and say it. There was 12 Gauge in Rome. There is Premier All-Star that runs in Carrollton and Buchanan, and there is Bullpen Pro Wrestling that runs in just over the Alabama line. I think Roanoke maybe, just in Temple and a little bit in Carrollton as well. Those are the 3 shows that I wanted to check out this summer with a little bit of free time I had. And it looks like in the same calendar month, I'm going to get to see all of them. And, if you want to know the full thoughts and everything of what I thought of the 12 Gauge show, go check their website or GeorgiaWrestlingHistory.com. My write-up is there for that. If I go to Premier All-Star, I will do a write-up for that one as well. As long as, and also the Tapped Out podcast, Nick and the gang over there. I believe it's in part of their Patreon package. It may be the free, it may be the $1 a month. I got to check. But any of the results that I turn in, whether they talk about it on the show that week or not, should be on their write-up sheet. And so, or their notes. So go check both those places out. GeorgiaWrestlingHistory.com, I believe. They're also on Facebook. And go check out Tapped Out Pod anywhere you can find one. They're both spectacular media entities, and I'm glad that we're getting to collaborate and do some stuff. Maybe I'll have some other people on soon. You'll get to meet them more. But I've talked and rambled long enough. It is time to go watch more wrestling and MMA and prepare for whatever tomorrow is going to bring. So we've reached the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in to another great edition of Strong Style. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. We will see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses. Go watch wrestling. Go watch fighting.